Hi guys, just back here to do the Leeds United review for the season coming on, and season starts tomorrow. Again, another massive season again for Leeds. It always is. We're down relegated since 2004. We all thought last year for pretty, I'd say 90% of the season we were probably going to go up at least automatic. And obviously we know what happens in the playoffs. That disappointment there. Because for Leeds, that's what we do. We always lose the playoffs. We always like that. But look, I'll talk about everything that's happened during the summer, pre-season, and a bit of the players and the prediction and like or comment whatever you want to do anyway. So the first big thing is really after this point in the playoffs, the big news was Bielsa was staying, and I said to everyone, regardless of next season, if Bielsa doesn't stay, the club will collapse. He is staying. He seems determined to stay. He seems happy with what he's dealing with Orta and Radvizani. It was so important that he stayed that just the whole club needed a lift. The whole club was on its knees after that derby game, and just watching Villa, who, we got 4 points off last season, finished miles. We were what 8 points ahead of them or something in the end. We were at one stage 20 odd points clear of them. It's just unbelievable how Derby and themselves got to the final. But that's just football. But Bielsa staying is massive. If he had left, it would have been a massive issue. Good news also in later news maybe Carlos Corbin stayed on as well with doing 23s and helping out with the first team. Obviously, maybe there could be a future managerial role for him because he does seem to know what he's doing. And the under 23s obviously brilliant, and all the underage teams are doing well. So fair play to Richard Cresswell, I think is head of the academy, and Carlos Corbin seems to be doing everything. But Bielsa's style has been impacted on the underage team. So we've got a philosophy which is brilliant. So I think if he did leave, it would have been a massive culture shock, and I think the players as well just wouldn't be able to give what they had last year. So that first of all, I think if anyone was to leave this season or whatever's to happen, Bielsa I think was the first man to stay, and I would have sacrificed anybody to keep him. And look, we've got another shot at Bielsa. So, and he seems happy. He's talking very positively about the players, a lot of confidence. I think a lot of his quotes last year saying that the players won't be able to act this level again. I think that was actually misquoted or out of it. I actually nearly got the feeling that he said that I don't think they'll need to play as well to get promoted again because they gave everything last year. They deserve to go up. And you can say I'm biased or whatever. I don't think I am. The football they played, they just threw it away the last couple of games. And the points they just blew. The injuries they had, don't want to be using a few referee decisions cost us big games as well. But they always just overrode it. But if they can get that bit of luck, there's no reason why Bielsa can't get them promoted again, no matter who he's managing. So again, I mentioned Orta and Radrizzani there. Obviously, we're looking at the FFP and everything. There's been a few people out. So first of all, the fringe players gone either on loan or permanent. Louis Coyle, Paddy O'Connor, Apo Halme. Lawrence DeBuck looks like he's leaving in the next 24 hours, which would be good. Tyler Denton, Hadi Sacco, Malik Wilkes, I say. There was a big one. That one going out. He looked like he had a bit of potential, but I think this court case hanging around him, I'm not too really downhearted by that if he's leaving. And J. Roy Grott as well, another one. So that really leaves O'Kane, who's come back from his leg break. He was at Luton last year. He really doesn't know how to break it up. Ideguchi, who they can seem to upload at the moment, but I'd say there will be some interest in him. And Chibisky, who tried to get one with Elfsborg in Sweden. That one fell through. So it's really those three left to get them off the way bill. Especially O'Kane would be good to get off because I'd say he's on one of the highest earners, I'd say, because he was offered, I think it's for 4-year contract at the start of Thomas Christensen reign. So there was a lot of contracts handing out then that maybe shouldn't have been. Anyway, in terms of the FFP, like they've brought in a lot of money Leeds at the moment this summer. Like you're looking now, it could be up to 30 million if Roof goes, which looks quite likely at the moment. People are saying we're having some money. Well, they held their cost to deal. All these loan deals we're getting in, you still have to pay fees for them. They're not free. The wages aren't free. You have to pay either 50%, 100% wages, or you give your down payment of $1 million or two. Like Jack Harrison, I'd say they're paying $1 million or two for. Helder Costa, they've got a future deal for up to 15 million for him, so they're paying that in installments. Jack Clark, I'm not too sure what the deal was there. Maybe that was a free swap back because obviously they got him back. So even the whole spending of the championship, people saying we're not spending money and we're selling. If you look at spending, I think it's down nearly about 100% of what it was last year. So I think last season it was around 120 million ish for the whole year. I think it's at 60, 70 million at the moment, and there's only a week left to go. So clearly states that all the clubs are really been prudent, extra prudent with the FFP, especially what happened to Birmingham last year. Obviously, some clubs are still probably getting around at Derby County, looking at really selling the stadium to Mel Morris, the owner. Dodgy, but he got away with it. There's ways around it, but that's just the way it is at the moment. Anyway, we'll go and look at the squad that we have at the moment, and I'll go through kind of what I think of all of that and what we need. So the three keepers we have, Kiko Casilla is really the only main keeper we got. Kamil Miyazik, who did really well with the under 23s, and Will Huffer as well, who did play against Bristol last year, and the team we're playing tomorrow. Bicock Farrell has gone to Burnley for about 3.5 million, 12 months left in his deal. I think he's a talented goalkeeper, but I think there's a lot of mistakes in him, and he cost us a few goals last year. The Birmingham game was one. Remember the Wigan game was a free kick. It seems to be shots from outside the box. He struggled with Blackburn was another one. I think Forest, he was very slow getting down. There was a few goals. He just kind of thought if a top keeper was in there, if a goal goes in and it doesn't look really normal, I always think the goalkeepers are slow to react, or he's just caught out. And he was caught out with a few long ranges. Conor Horan's as well against Aston Villa was another one to stick out from. We came back in a lot of the games, but you can't be relying on that. So I think it's good for both parties. He wants to get first team football, which he won't be getting at Burnley. But look, 3 million for a guy who isn't established yet, it's not bad. I don't really mind that going. Kiko Casillas there, he's on 30-40 grand a week. He's the highest earner. If they can't offload him, then they have to, probably one of them have to go. So look, let's hope Kiko doesn't have any more brain farts like he did against Derby. But we obviously need another keeper, some experience. I don't think Miyazik or Huffer are ready yet. Now obviously Bielsa, if it came to it, would Bielsa rather just go and buy a forward to replace Roof with that money, or would he go and get a goalkeeper and maybe a not as good centre forward? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Throughout the whole pre-season as well, we were playing kind of a 3-1-3-3 formation. So it's a bit of a difference from the 4-1-4-1. So it does look like he's going 3 at the back. Now, I'll still put in terms of right backs, Luke Ayling and obviously Stuart Dallas then, who can play in a few positions. I think Dallas would be more of a full back with all the wingers we have now. Centre halves, Liam Cooper, captain. Ben White, look forward to seeing him. He looked good in pre-season, what we saw of him. But again, pre-season against likes of York and all these guys, it's difficult to match him. But he did look good. He did look good, very good on the ball. He picked up the ball a couple times and literally carried the ball over the halfway line and pushed him back. I did like that. Especially if they do trade the three at the back, he'll be perfect. Almost coming out like it's like a David Luiz, PK kind of sweeper almost, that he can carry the ball out, and then you could maybe have Luke Ayling to the right and Cooper to the left or something. So, or Berardi or something. He's suspended for tonight. He'd be also a centre back option who could play anywhere in the back four. And then Pascal Struijk, you'd be looking at them as well. Probably be the next option with the likes of Diaz and Oriel Ray, Connor Shaughnessy. He's been told he's still at the club as well. I don't know what the crack is with him. Tom Pearce is another one. He's still hanging around. Doesn't look like they'll be staying as well. So Struijk maybe, but again, he hasn't really played much at all. He does look good. He got from Ajax youth team 2 years ago. The big one there, obviously, is Janssen gone. I think it's upsetting for everyone. So it's just happened. We have to get on with it, and we have to deal with it. He's gone for 5 million. People say it's worth peanuts. In terms of the market and what centre halves are in the championship, from centre half to centre half for same club in the championships of Leeds to Brentford, that's actually a decent price. Unless he was been sold to the Premier League, we were never going to get over 10 million for him. We don't know what happened. Was there a fallout with Bielsa? There's rumours of it. Probably FFP as well. Or maybe it's just 3 at the back. That maybe he doesn't feel that he's good enough on the ball. Maybe he feels Cooper and White, maybe Berardi or Ayling are better options. We don't know. I think it's a massive loss. We haven't replaced them. Ben White isn't a replacement in my view. They're completely different centre halves. He gave us those moments. I'll never forget the Villa game. That one, Blackburn away a couple of years ago. Brentford at home last year. He just comes up with these goals, these headers, just throws them body on the line. He was brilliant, but I think he's one of our favourite players. But he's gone, and we've got to get on with it. And if he plays in the Premier League with Brentford before we get there, very upsetting. But look, we'll miss him. But look, we have to move on. We can't just sit there. Look, with Ben White now, we have to get behind him. I still think we're missing a good centre half, but again, it looks like he's happy. Bielsa said he's happy with that, and Ben White's been given number 5 as well for the year, so which was last worn by Pennington. I just hope it doesn't turn into another Pennington. Left backs, Barry Douglas. Hopefully we can get a better season out of him. Injured a lot last year, and young Leif Davis, who made his debut against Villa last year. I think he came from Morecambe about a year and a half ago. looks promising. Bielsa seems to like and gave him good encouragement. Saw there in the match down in Australia. Midfielders, obviously Alioski can play there as well. Dallas can play there, Berardi. So there is options. There is, to be fair to the players, they're very agile and flexible. We got Calvin Phillips, the main man in the midfield. Still, we don't know what's happening with him. Is he going to stay? I think he will at this stage. But if Villa come in with a 30 million bid on deadline day, I'd be worried. But they need to have a replacement lined up if they're going to do that. And I think if you sell him, you're kind of ripping the future captain out. I think he will go next season if we don't get promoted. If we do get promoted, he'll stay. It's as simple as that. Massive player. But in this three at the back now, he'll be actually to play in midfield, which will be better for us because now we won't lose his influence in midfield as much. Because he did fill in a lot at centre half last season. So injuries, suspensions, and from playing three at the back as well. Adam Forshaw gets a lot of stick. I think he's good. I don't think he's that bad. I think he works very hard. I think he's decent on the ball. He was brilliant against Derby last year at home. If anyone remembers that game, he was outstanding. He's not as good as Phillips, but I think he's fine replacement. Absolutely fine. Matthias Klick, bit of a hero at the moment. Great season last year. Maybe tailed off a bit after Christmas. Involved obviously the Aston Villa game. Massive thing in that. Polish international, scored a few goals. Great player, great pro. Everyone seems to like him. Matthias Bogus, another Pole, he's 17, coming through. Really got a great goal pre-season as well. So we'll see what he can do. He's only 17 though as well. And then you look at maybe Jamie Shackleton, who did very well in the first leg against Derby when he came on for Forshaw. But again, another young player. You can't be relying on these guys too much, you know. At wide men, we got Pablo Hernandez, who can also play in the middle. Don't need to say about him. We all know he's the best player we've had, probably outside the Premier League, I'd say. Jack Clark, who we did sell for 8 million or so. We got him back on loan, so I think that's a good move for everyone. Leeds, Spurs, and himself. We need to sell him for FFP. We got him back off Spurs. You know, he's got to move. He gets back with Leeds. Works out well. Helder Costa, I mentioned earlier, was Wolves Player of the Year in 2016-17. I think he scored a goal last year against Spurs at Wembley, so we know what he can do. He's top player. Alioski, madman that he is, but he'll play anywhere for you. Give 100%. You don't know what he's going to do, but you know, we all like him. Jack Harrison, part of the standout player pre-season, scored a couple of goals, a couple of assists. Looks really good. Looks a lot fitter. It looks like he was hitting the gym a bit more. I'm expecting big things from him this year. Obviously, we've got a future deal. Looks like with him as well to sign him up. So good again. Up front now, this is where we're really light. Tyler Roberts, you could probably put as a forward, but he's played most of his season number 10 last year. He's injured at the moment. Hopefully we'll get him back up and running. Bamford, he's the only really other option in Roof. Bamford, we know what he's like. He'll score goals, but when he really needs to dig in, he's not there for us. And he wasn't there in the Derby game, but proper pre-season under Bielsa, he needs a goal. And people need to get on his back. He's our number 9. We have to get on with it. There's no point in criticising. If you're going to criticise him, just don't go to the matches. That's all I'm going to say. Don't bother. There's no point. But we do need another centre forward. Other than that, we've got Ryan Edmondson, who is currently playing for under 23s today, so he won't be involved this weekend. And then we've got Kun as well, with a Bulgarian. But again, they're not ready yet. Clubs to watch out for. I think Brentford, if they keep hold of Mopé up front. Mopé, Watkins, Benrahma, Sawyers, Kanyas. We've got Janssen at the back now. They've got a good team. They've got a really good team. They've been building it for about 2 or 3 years. They've been flirting with the playoffs. I think they could be really tough. They're very difficult to beat down at Griffin Park. Fulham, obviously, their front three, they have Mitrovic. They got Knockhart from Brighton, and they've got Ivan Cavallero, another loan deal from Wolves as well. They've got good players. They've Kamara, Tom Kearney's still there. I think Johansson might have gone back. Like they've got really good players. So they've an experienced manager, but they've got the players definitely can bounce right back up. Stoke had a bit of a dodgy year last year, but I think they'll be definitely a little bit more equipped. They got rid of a lot of the old guard, so I think that's helped them a bit. Middlesbrough under Woodgate, we saw them yesterday against Luton, 3-3 draw, so they're going to be entertaining. Maybe a bit different than Pulis. You'd imagine they'll still be around there. I think Cardiff are going to be definitely maybe a team to beat. I think they've pretty much kept the same team they had last year. Warnock knows how to get them out of the league. Warnock and Cardiff are a perfect match, so I think they'll be tough. West Brom will always be there as well, but they did lose Dwight Gale. He scored a lot of goals last year. and Jay Rodriguez as well. I think he's gone back to Burnley, so they've lost a few goals. They may not be as strong as last year, but again, they'll be up around there. And I think Bristol City as well. They've spent really well. Again, they're kind of team flirting like Brentford. They've been getting better every year. Big game tomorrow against them. I'd probably take a draw, but again, we said that last year we played Stoke at home and we were taking a draw, and we absolutely battered them in the first game. It was only 3-1, but it could have been 4-5. I think to go down, maybe Reading, Charlton, Millwall, QPR, maybe Birmingham. I think they'd probably be the few. But again, this league is so difficult. I think there's no real top teams out there, so I think that you'd be looking at really. It could be another surprise back like Norwich or something. Could happen again. But I think there's no real team really to fear out there, which is the only good thing that what we have. We've lost a few players, but I don't think, like even Villa last year on paper, looking at them, they were like, these guys each should win the league. But it wasn't until Dean Smith came in and they got Tyrone Mings and stuff like that. They really put their financial muscle out in January from the parachute payments. They really then came on strong. So unless it's something that happens like that, I think we'll definitely be up there. I don't want playoffs. If we're in the playoffs, sorry if I'm a bit pessimistic, but we just don't do them well. I think if you offer me playoffs, I suppose we'd have to take it. But I don't want them. We need to go automatically. I don't see us winning the playoffs ever. So I think I'm not as optimistic as last year. I think people might have worked us out a bit more, unless Bielsa has a trick up sleeve. But Bielsa is magic. He can do whatever he can. He will do his best for us. And let's just hope we can get promoted. I think top two we have to aim for. Will we get top two? I don't think so. But we'll have to take playoffs. But I don't want to be in them. That's the only thing I can say. So look, the only thing I'll say is we have a big year ahead of us. You know, FFP again, could be runner next year. Radrizzani, I think, he's only got one more year left in him. He said to get up. Bielsa, I don't think he'll stay on for another year in the championship. So it's really riding on this. A lot of pressure. Got to stay away from injuries. Got to stay away from suspension. We missed about 6 or 7 people on average last year. So I think the squad is too thin. But Bielsa says he's fine. He's happy. If Bielsa's happy and fine, I'm happy by it. That's the only thing I'll say. But it's a big ask. I think we're not as good as we were last year, but the players have got an extra year under Bielsa, and they know exactly what's coming. So let's just hope we're going to do it. Anyway, look, march on together as always. Let's stay together. We can't have division with the fans. We're as close as we ever were. Fans, player, manager, owner. We need to keep going that own way, and let's hope by May then we're celebrating. Talk to you later.